What happens when an agent gets overwhelmed? Is it by just the volume of people that he's talking to or working with, or are we talking about when he's not performing and not producing and overwhelmed? Because they're two different things.
Both.
Both. Okay, we'll start off with the first one. If an agent is overwhelmed by the volume of business that's coming in, the amount of people that are coming in, if they're new clients, there's really nothing to do. Like if you got so much business coming in, you can't get overwhelmed, we'll hire more people because he's obviously doing something right. But if it's calling in their client issues, right, and there's issues with fulfillment, or people are calling in with a lot of extra questions, or they're calling in and they're having problems with what you got them, well, then we might do a little bit of training on that, because there's obviously a gap in communication with the clients, but at least he's selling them. Now, the other segment is when they're overwhelmed and not handling actual client issues, right? They're overwhelmed and they got all this information and all this stuff coming at them, and they're still not selling. Well, we have a big problem at that point, because that means that you don't have streamlined processes and your agents don't have the right resources to make their life easier. So if you don't have that, how are you going to be able to tell an agent, hey, I need to get 10 sales out of you, 15 sales, 20 sales out of you this week, when I don't even have the systems and the tools to make that physically possible? So if your agents are overwhelmed and they're making sales, maybe you need to make streamline the process to let them make more sales, because obviously they're doing something right. If they're not making any sales, well, realistically speaking, them being quote unquote overwhelmed, then they're focused on the wrong things. All that matters is getting on the phone and talking to a client. So if you're doing all that other stuff and you aren't making sales, well, then you're just finding an excuse for failure. So, focus on that. Get on the phone. That'll actually clear up everything. That clears up everything. Sales cures all. So if you're not making sales, get on the phone, get sales. If you're running agents and they're overwhelmed with paperwork and other bullshit, cut it out of their life, let them get on the phone. You'll figure out what to do after that. All right, see you.